Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Alex, and this is
I'm David with
Rocky
Lunchtime
Mount.
Lunacy.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. So we're here today, and I just wanted to talk to you guys real quick about our social media accounts. You can see them along the bottom of our screen right here. We got a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the good ones. So if you guys are really interested in what we're doing here and you like what you're seeing, then go ahead and just follow us. And if you want to reach out to anyone here at Rocky Mountain Sports Report, we'd be more than happy to talk with you. And then um, that's basically it. So go ahead and follow us at any major social media platform.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for that intro and welcome to the show, everybody. Want to talk about our sponsors that we got going on. We got Coda Bear Creations. If you need t-shirts, hats, water bottles, whatever you want, whatever you want to put your logo on, reach out to Coda Bear Connections. They will go up. Coda Bear Creations, tongue tied today. Reach out to them and they will go ahead and hook you up. They are the supplier of Rocky Mountain Sports Report merchandise, and they could be your supplier of merchandise as well. Our other sponsor is Stoked Fire, the barbecue superstore in Loveland, Colorado. So if you are looking for seasonings, sauces, they got jams up there, they got pickles up there, and these are all homemade products or not stuff that you'll buy in the supermarket. Check out their website. They got grill accessories. They got pellet grills and all the accessories for those. And they sell meats up there. They got Rockin' 40 meats out of Fort Lupton, Colorado. They sell ribeye, New York strip, flank steak, flat iron, tri-tips, ground beef, and short ribs. They also have the Snake River briskets. They have the Creekstone pork, and then they have the stuff that Alex was salivating over the other day, the Wagyu briskets from Snake River Farms as well. So check them out at their website, stokedgrill.com, or if you're in the Loveland area or you just want to take a little excursion, head on up there. They're out by the Loveland outlets right off of I-25. So, and then, all right, Alex.
One last thing, if you want to be another one of these guys you see at the bottom of the screen, like Stoke to Fire and Coda Bear Creations, and you're interested in advertising with RMSR, all you got to do is reach out to Matt Staffiero, and we'll set something up, whether it's short term, long term, anything you guys want to do, just let him know, and we'll make it happen.
Okay, and then just a reminder on July 24th, and I'm going to cut Alex's face out again. July 24th, we have our first RMSR remote event. We will be at the Stoked Fire Barbecue Superstore, and come on out, talk sports with us, get some free food samples and things like that. So we hope to see you there. And then also, Alex and I are going to be looking for co-hosts. Alex, you're going to be out when?
It'd be July 3rd through the 10th.
Yeah, so Alex will be out. So basically the week of July 5th or July 5th through the 9th, because that's Monday through Friday. We'll need somebody to fill in for Alex. And then next Friday, June 25th, I will be out. So if somebody's interested in co-hosting with Alex, hit us up. Let us know so we can get you set up so you can co-host with Alex.
And all just right. To kind of jump onto that, it's a no pressure situation. We're here to have fun. Me and you, obviously, we have a great relationship, and I'm willing to build that relationship with anybody. So if you guys want to jump in here, then I'd be more than happy to have you. So,
yeah, definitely. All right, let's start the show. Let's talk about the big thing this week in U.S. Open. Current leader right now is Matthew Wolff. He's at 3 under, but we still have the top players who haven't gone off the tee yet. They'll be teeing off soon. It was delayed this morning for almost 2 hours, I think, due to heavy fog out there in the San Diego area. So the tournament's at Torrey Pines, and I don't know if you remember this, Alex, or not, but this is where Tiger Woods sank that, probably about 20-foot putt on the last hole of the tournament to force a playoff with Rocco Mediate. And you see it, and you see it at the head-on view of the putt, and the ball's just bouncing all over just because of the conditions of the green after, being trounced on for 4 days. And, you know, Tiger, who had ice water running through his veins when he was in his prime, just sunk that thing and then forced a playoff. And then Monday they did an 18-hole playoff, and after that they were still tied. And Tiger won on the first hole of sudden death. So I just found this out today. Torrey Pines and the PGA, they have now put a plaque at the 18th green that honors that putt from Tiger Woods, because it was pretty much that iconic, that putt, and it's probably the most well played putt, either that or that one that he hit. I can't remember what tournament it was, but that thing looped all the way around and came back and went into the cup. So, but this one, a lot of pressure, and he forced a playoff. So,
Phil Mickelson. And anytime I think of Torrey Pines, anytime I hear that name, that's the first thing that pops into my mind is just that iconic putt. So, good for them, actually acknowledging the fact that something like that happened at their golf course. And that's pretty cool, in my opinion.
And the nice thing about Torrey Pines is that is truly a public golf course. Mm-hmm. It's not a private course or anything. This is a public golf course that you and I could walk up to and play on it. I'd hate to see my score on it, but
right,
so
we might have to do that someday, because I did not know that. But that's pretty cool.
So another thing, Phil Mickelson, the only major he has not won is the U.S. Open. And he's going to give it a go this year. Thing is, he came close in 2006. I mean, he had a lead going in. A 1-stroke lead. Actually, he had like a 2 or 3-stroke lead when he hit hole 16 of the final round, and he just sort of had a meltdown, and he ended up losing that tournament. So favorites going into the tournament are John Rahm. He's the favorite at 9-1. You got Dustin Johnson at 18-1, Bryson DeChambeau at 18-1, Brooks Koepka at 18-1, and then you got a whole slew, including Rory McIlroy at 20-1. You know what I think would be interesting, Alex? Is if on Sunday, the last day, the pairing ends up being Champo and Koepka. And I don't know how big of a golf follower you are, but there's some bad blood between those two. And they've come out and they've said, we just don't like each other.
Wow.
And it has gone as far as taunting each other on social media, even a little bit of, jabbing back and forth between fans and everything else. I think it would be awesome to have those two walking up the 18th fairway,
Have we ever seen a golf fight before? Has any of the two players
only in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, man.
So yeah.
I mean, honestly, the odds that we're looking at right now are a little surprising to me, just because as good as Rory McIlroy is, 20-1 odds. It's not really in his favor, but anything can happen on those 18 holes. So
no, anything definitely can. It'll be a good weekend of golf. So if you guys get a chance, tune in, check it out. It'll be fun. So, all right, Denver Broncos. Final day of mini camp, and then they're off until July
27th.
Yep, July 27th. That's when they start actual training camp. So, question for you, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Broncos need to announce a starter before going into training camp? Do we need to drag this into training camp? Do you think they have enough information now where they could say, we're going with Bridgewater or we're going with Locke?
So are you asking me as a fan, or are you asking me as an analyst? Because as a fan, they want to know as soon as possible who's our quarterback going into the season, at least to start it. And then, but as an analyst, I don't, in my professional opinion, I do not think that it doesn't need to happen anytime soon. I think that, if they're making an educated decision, as long as before, we hit preseason and even a couple weeks before that, I think they would be fine. So really, there's no rush for the Denver Broncos organization. I think that they just need to make a very good educated decision. And if that means taking their time, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and I think everybody knows where I stand. I believe just give it to Locke, let him start, and if things start to go south, then we have Teddy Bridgewater who can come in. But we got to find out what we have in Drew Lock. So anybody out there watching, let us know what your thoughts are. Are you a Locke fan? Are you a Bridgewater fan? Should the Broncos make the declaration of who's the starter going into training camp? So, and of course, here we go. Here he is. Lock Flogger shows up for us.
The first time we've seen him comment in our 3-day span, and this is what. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Matt has he has commented on the show, and it may go all the way until week before the first season starts. And I really don't like that approach. I think they need to come in with, what, we're going with Locke or we're going with Bridgewater. You're going to get the majority of the snaps. I don't want to see him. We're going to split games 1 and 2, and then because we know game 3 is really just a mop up. But I don't know if that changes now because you had 4. You had 4, and here's Matt with another comment. #neither. So, and
oh man,
and that could change to neither. Who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is a little farther out there because of the pending legal issues that he's dealing with right now. So, but Green Bay may just finally get sick of it and say, what, Aaron Rodgers, you want to go? Fine, we'll trade you. So we'll see what happens because then that puts it all to rest, and it wouldn't be a competition between Aaron Rodgers, Drew Lock, and Teddy Bridgewater. Who the starter.
Competition.
Yeah, you know who the starter would be. Yeah, you definitely know. So, also, the Broncos are sitting with $29 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Do you think they do any more free agent signings to bolster this roster? And here's a good question from if both Locke and Bridgewater fail to impress, what should Patton do? There's really not much at that point that I think of. I mean, you can scour the waiver wires and see who's out there, but who's really going to be out there? Right. If they both aren't really impressive, I'm going to go back to my thing of you got to go with Locke and see if he can develop during the regular season and have sort of a Josh Allen breakout season.
Well, and you were kind of just talking about the cap space having $29 million left, and I think this is kind of a scenario we could, if like Matt is saying, they both, don't really impress us. Well, then that's when you would use that $29 million in cap space to go out and find you a quarterback that maybe can hold down the team until you can get to the off season. So that would be worst case scenario, obviously. So maybe that's what Peyton is kind of figuring, is that like maybe he has like an emergency cash fund,
Yeah. And here's another vet they pursue, Nick Foles or Gardner Minshew. I say no on either one of them. It's just sort of like the Teddy Bridgewater thing. What is it getting you?
Right.
It's not finding you your franchise guy. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to win with Locke and Bridgewater, you're not really going to win with Foles or Minshew.
Right, just and at that point, you just want to ride the season out.
Ride it out.
Hopefully, you'll get a high draft pick, and you can go out and find yourself a better quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. And Matt has a crazy theory that the Broncos are going to end up with the 11th pick, and that they're going to pick a 3rd or 4th round graded quarterback at 11 in Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. So I asked Matt how he comes up with these ideas. So
I mean, we haven't even started the season. That's what I want to know. Yeah. How are you? I mean, he must know something that we don't.
Yeah. So Matt does come up with some good stuff, but hey, you got to love Matt and his dedication to the Broncos and Rocky Mountain Sports Report. He definitely so. All right, like back Here we go again. Matt Corral, he's rising,
Oh my goodness.
and this is coming from the same guy that said next year's quarterback class is garbage, and we're not going to get anybody worth it. And why would George Payton go out and grab a third or fourth round talent at number 11 when he wouldn't pick, a Justin Fields or others like that were Mac Jones that were sitting there available at number 9.
Right.
So,
well, and I think he's kind of stuck on the John Elway trend of things. John Elway's used to making moves like that,
right.
where I don't think Peyton's nearly as stupid, or maybe stupid's not the right word,
right.
But maybe George Payton just has better decision making skills than that.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. So, but back to that question, $29 million in cap space. Who's available out there is Sheldon Richardson from the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he had a halfway decent season last year. Not all pro type, but I think he's somebody that could come in and give us some more depth and versatility along the defensive line, because I think you can move Richardson around a lot, and he may be somebody. There's some younger safeties that are out there. I don't know if we really want to, bring more safeties in. I think we've.
Well, I think our secondary is kind of where it needs to be. I think if we're going to bring in anybody on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be the interior defensive line, or maybe another high-flying linebacker that can kind of get out.
Because we don't know how Purcell's going to respond, coming off of his injury last year. So we'll have to see. Matt says he was visiting Minnesota earlier this week. So Minnesota, to my knowledge, has not made any offers or anything to him yet. So if George Payton wants to bolster, if he wants to bolster, and these are good places to tight end market, or edge. Our tight end room has just been so erratic, I'll say.
Yeah.
Noah Fant is up and down. I hope that Noah Fant has a consistent breakout year this year. Albert O, I mean, the guy was great, before he ended up with his knee injury, and we don't know how he's going to respond to that. So,
right.
Other than that, I mean, there's nothing glamorous or that sticks out about our tight end room. So that there is a tight end out there. I saw it. I can't remember it. So, and Matt's right here. This is exactly what we are just saying. Injuries and inconsistency define our tight end room, and that is true. So, but we'll see what the Broncos do. Hopefully, they make a few more moves, to bolster it. But if you bring on an Aaron Rodgers or someone like that, then you're going to erode some of that $29 million cap as well. So they may be sitting on it right now in hopes that, hey, Aaron Rodgers is going to become available. I don't know what his cap hit would be this year or not. So, Matt, if you could look that up really quick, that would be great. So, anything else on the Broncos, Alex, before they break? I mean,
so I sent you a video this morning, and I really want to know your answer to it.
Oh, yes. Go ahead and fill that in.
So before they come out, or as they're coming out of the locker room, Bud Light does this thing, and it's basically asking these hypothetical questions to all the team players as they walk out of the locker room, and there's a camera hanging there so you can see their reactions and everything. And it was hilarious this morning. They had one where the question was, would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized T-Rexes or one T-Rex-sized chicken? And I want to know your answer.
I think I would stand a better chance with the one T-Rex sized chicken.
But you know how big a T-Rex is, right?
Well, no, I do know how big they are, but all you have to do is take out one. If I have some sort of 100 little chicken-sized T-Rexes, they could tear you up, be like piranhas or something almost, So I think I would go with the with the chicken-sized T-Rex. Where would you go?
Honestly, I'd go the exact opposite. I'd go with the 100 chicken-sized T-Rexes
What, you
because
just can get a baseball bat and start swinging it at them?
I mean, I'll start kicking them. I'll put those like I'll kick them like McManus, like I don't care, So I'll
So,
find something, but they're not catching me. That's all I gotta say.
all right, okay. So, all right, let's move on to the Colorado Rockies today. So the Rockies yesterday ended up sweeping the Padres. They come back in the ninth with the 8-7 win. They had blown a lead, looked like they were going to lose it, and they come back. Charlie Blackmon drives in the winning run in the bottom of the ninth. So,
Well, I was out in Golden yesterday watching this game at Woody's Pizza Tavern,
mm-hmm.
and early in the game it looked good. Obviously they went up 3-0, and I thought everything was going good, and then of course like we talked about with the Kyle Freeland and his 9.0 ERA, he decides to give up a 2-run shot in the middle of the third, and then another 1-run shot before they get out of the inning. So there wipes away their 3-0 lead. And I'm just sitting there like thinking, oh, this is terrible. This isn't going to happen. We're not going to win this game. And it's typical Rockies fashion. And then, as the game gets closer to the end, we're still in it a little bit. And then Charlie Blackmon comes out and works his magic and hits that shot to win us the game. And it was pretty special to watch.
Yeah. And I didn't see it, and I wish I would have watched it. But just a update on the U.S. Open. Looks like Patrick Rogers, Matthew Wolff, and but there's a group of 5 tied for the lead at 2 under right now. So, and the some of the bigger players are out on the course now. Koepka's at 1 under, so we'll see how that transpires. So, all right, here's your sport, Alex. NBA basketball, the playoffs. We talked about this yesterday. Can the Clippers beat the Jazz without Kawhi?
And what did I say? What did I tell you yesterday?
You said, yeah, they can do it if Paul George gets the support from the other players, and that's exactly what he got.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George had a double-double, scored 37 points, and they had, I think, 3 or 4 other players in double figures. Right. Terrence Mann didn't go crazy, didn't have like a Kawhi-type night, but you probably wouldn't expect him to have that kind of night anyway. So, but they got the support they needed,
mm-hmm.
So,
well, and that's what good championship caliber teams do, is that when one of your best players goes down and you don't know when he's going to come back, you rally around him and you do what you have to do without him on the floor, and you handle your business and you take care of it and you get a win.
So that game, I believe, was in Utah. So now they go back to LA. Do you think the Clippers close it out?
They very well could. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's going to go down without a fight. Obviously, I don't think Rudy Gobert is going to go down without a fight, but anything could happen, and I definitely think that it's a possibility that they close the next time out.
Well, this is an interesting question right here, and it's back to the Broncos. But hey, Kenny from K&K Sports in New York, thanks for submitting this. If Locke is the starting QB, what would the record have to be in September for him to stay as the starting QB? Vic Fangio has not won a single football game in the month of September as the Broncos coach.
Wow, it's a terrible.
So if he does start, we start easy. We got the Giants and the Jags on the road, and then we got the Jets.
But you got to be careful about those Giants. The Giants are.
No, I agree. I think the Giants are the scary one there. And I'll tell you what, if Trevor Lawrence, catches on and he's pretty decent, the Jags have a very good offensive team. Mm-hmm. They have some weapons on that football team, right? And you could be in trouble there too. So honestly, I hate to say it, but the Broncos could lose any of these 4 games that Kenny's talking about right here.
Right. And
you know. And
to
is it
answer his question directly, what would our record have to be for Drew Lock to stay starting quarterback? We'd have to win at least two of those.
I would agree. I would think that he would have to be 2-2, or if we lose games, it's not because of Drew Lock.
Right.
If Drew Lock is not creating the turnovers and the mistakes that would that cost us games, and yeah, I would say you keep rolling with him and see if he develops. But if it's just a disaster out there,
right.
I mean, last year our opening game was against Tennessee. Locke drove us down, got the game-winning score, and then, mismanagement of the clock by Fangio and things like that, really cost us that game.
Well, and those kind of things are going to be more apparent this year, I think, because if Drew, like you said, if Drew Lock comes out and he starts playing real well, and he's not the one costing us the games, and you look at our defense on paper, our defense should be a top 5 defense.
So I'm gonna flip the question around to Kenny. What does our September record have to be for Fangio to keep his job?
Right.
So, all right, let's get back to NBA basketball. The Hawks, boy, it looked like they were just done last night, and man, they rallied from 26 back to beat the Sixers.
Right, with energy too. I was watching that game last night, and it was insane. And I was flipping back between the Rockies and the Hawks game, and man, the way that they came out and they played in that second half is exactly the way you would want a basketball team who's down 26 to come out. They came out with energy. They played defense. They were jumping on balls on the ground, and it was just ridiculous. If I would have seen it from anyone else, I wouldn't have believed it was true. But Trae Young went in there in the second half, and he proved that he's one of the better young point guards in the league. So
yeah, and I'll address this question here too, or we can. What if Denver's winning games solely on the performance of the defense? I don't have a problem with that as long as Locke is not going out there and just playing horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what our team is built for, is to be a defensive juggernaut. Right. So I really don't have an issue, if our defense is winning games. It would be sort of like the year that we won Super Bowl 50. Mm-hmm. That's the way that team was built.
Right. Well, that also means that if Drew Lock is playing horrible, and then we decide to put Teddy Bridgewater in, and we continue to have success because of our defense, I'm cool with that because, like we talked about yesterday, Teddy Bridgewater is a consistent guy who's going to get you what you need, but he's not going to do it by taking risks. He's going to do the check down throws. He's going to throw across the middle of the field at short distances. He's going to do the safe thing. And if that's what it means to get Drew Lock to keep Drew Lock out of the game, I'm cool with that as long as we're winning,
No, I agree. So, final series that we got going on right now. The Nets have a 3-2 advantage over the Bucks. They're going to Milwaukee tonight. Can KD and those guys close it out? What do you think, Alex?
Yep, I got money that they do close it out tonight. I think that KD comes out and he plays like a man on fire, like he did the last time, and he puts it away, and they win 4-2.
So, and we're gonna take. We're going to take one more Bronco question. Do you think you begin to see frustration from your offensive weapons due to lack of production? Well, yeah, if we're not moving the ball, and I don't care who the quarterback is in there. And I know who Matt's directing this at. We all know who he's directing it at. So, but I don't, the guys are going to start to get frustrated if we're not moving the ball and we're not scoring points.
Right.
The defense will get frustrated. The offensive weapons are going to start to get frustrated. Mm-hmm. I think that we have a better chance of being explosive with Drew Lock in there than we do with two gloves.
Yeah,
I think he's just so conservative. And he's going to just dink and dunk and three and out. Oh, we'll have a 4-play drive, 5-play drive, things like that. So I don't see Teddy Bridgewater directing an offense that has the ability to score more than 20 points. Drew Lock can do it. He's shown it.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's jump on to NHL because I got to jump off here soon. I got an actual real work meeting here pretty soon. So, the NHL playoffs. Montreal beat Vegas last night 3-2, and they've evened that series up. Now they're going north of the border. Um, do you think Montreal can hold home ice and really put Vegas in a hole 3-1?
If they can come out and they can play good hockey and they have good goaltending, I think that's a very real possibility.
Yeah, I think the Montreal, and that's what's been carrying them through this is just their goaltending's been insane. But Vegas has a great goaltender in net too with Fleury, so that'll be interesting. See how that goes. See if Montreal holds home ice, or if Vegas can go up there and take one, even the series up and game back home ice. And then you got Tampa Bay, the defending champions, going into New York. Our New York guys out there, the Islanders. I mean, I would love to see the Islanders advance into the Stanley Cup Finals. I would love for it to end up with the Islanders in Montreal. I just
Oh,
think that I think that would be awesome. Two old school hockey teams. We don't want these warm weather teams in there. You know,
right. Make make making the
somebody from
NHL look
Florida
bad,
is
you know?
yeah, somebody from Florida, somebody from what from
Vegas.
Vegas. We don't need that. So
Right.
get it back to Montreal and New York. That's what I want to see. So, and then one last thing before we the Colorado Rapid, they return to the pitch on Saturday. They're traveling out to Ohio State FC Cincinnati. Rapids playing good soccer before the break for that they had. So Matt wants to bring the cup back to Canada. Well, I'd rather keep it in the U.S. So let the Islanders win it. So, but just make sure Vegas isn't there. So, and Kenny says I agree with Dave, but the only thing that would water down the Canadians advancing is lack of fans in Canada, and that is true. They're just, and I don't think he means hockey fans in general, but just what they're allowing into the arenas now. So,
Right.
and would Canada loosen it up, for the Stanley Cup Finals? I don't
I
know. I
I
don't.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, and I don't think they would. But look back to the Rapids. I mean, they've won. They're on a three game win streak, and they won 4 out of their last 5 matches. So, and I think they're sitting in good position right now to make the MLS playoffs if they keep playing the way that they are. So,
Right. Well, and the Rapids are typically usually a pretty good team, you know. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I do kind of like dabble in it a little bit. I'll pay attention to the standings. I'll see highlights and stuff like that. And the Rapids usually are among the teams that people are talking about, you know, when they talk about soccer. So it's pretty exciting here in Colorado to have a good soccer team that brings home wins, because right now wins are scarce here in Colorado. So
yeah, definitely is. All right. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. Another edition of Lunchtime Lunacy. Tomorrow we'll be back at our normal noon time. So we appreciate everybody's flexibility. Any parting shots, Alex?
as always, go Broncos.
Yep, that's Alex. As always, go Broncos. And this is Matt again with another one. Denver should be no worse than 2-1 that 3-game stretch. And Giants are the best matchup.
But like you said, Trevor Lawrence could be problems if they come into that game.
Yeah, because Jacksonville has some offensive talent on that team. And thank you very much, Kenny. We really do appreciate it. So, and I'll sort of back what Alex says. Go Broncos, go Rockies, go all Colorado sports teams. So, and everybody, if you got any ideas what you want us to talk about on this show, we don't want to isolate just to Colorado. We want to touch on some of the national stories as well, too. So if you guys got anything, Kenny, I'm not sure if you heard the intro, but we are looking for some guest hosts coming up. We got one we need next Friday. I'll be out. And the week of Yeah, July 5th through the 9th, we'll need somebody to fill in for Alex as he'll be visiting the Great Northwest. So if you guys, you or Kurt or anybody else over at K&K are interested, just hit us up, and we'll work something out. So, but again, hey everybody, have a great day. Be safe out there. Stay cool. I think it's supposed to start cooling off a little bit. Monday is going to be down to 72, so that's going to be
Oh
beautiful.
man, that's gonna be nice.
Yep. So, all right, everybody, you have a great day. Alex, you have a great day, and we
You
will
too,
talk.
Dan.
We will talk to you all later.
Later, guys. Peace.